Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to WOR for the final round of the PC Tier 2 Championship. And if you look in the title, you can see it says title finale. Yes, that is correct. We have got a cracking championship battle to end off this season at China between JSD and Yoris Crows. And those two have been at it all season long, with no one apart from those two taking victories since Singapore. And Chris, going into the final round, they situated themselves 1 point apart.
We couldn't have asked for closer, could we? We could not have asked for better. Oh, my goodness me. So we have got a lot of, it's not necessarily lesser known names, although there's some that are a bit lesser known. A lot of reserves in tonight. So today is going to be full of unknowns. We've got drivers we don't tend to see. We have a track that we haven't been to in a long time. So a track that's less familiar to the drivers. And an absolutely crucial race for two drivers in the field. Who's going to help who? What's the weather going to do? It's going to be all about surviving the dreaded turn one. Well, it's actually 3 turns, all in 4 if you include turn 4 as well. Several really high intensity areas here. Turn 1, it's not a very big braking zone, but it lasts a long time. It becomes turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, all in a very fluid movement. Turn 4, need to get the exit right. Turn 6, big heavy braking zone, and that is going to be a trouble spot. Turns 9 and 10, maybe, if you've got 7 and 8 a little bit wrong. Turn 11, yes, because you need to get the exit out of 13 spot on, the longest straight in the entire F1 Canada, down to a near crawl braking zone for turn 14. And that is where we were talking about this off air. That's where the title is going to be decided on the last lap, assuming that no one has killed each other before then.
Yeah, indeed. That last, that turn 14 is a horrible corner. You're going down there at such a high speed and into such a, such a tight hairpin. We'll definitely see someone break themselves a little bit too late into there and probably end up having a bit of a collision. But it's normal around this circuit, especially considering we don't race it very often. But before we head in, we'll have a quick look at the driver's standings on our screens. We can see it's JSD on 132 points ahead of Yoris on 131. And it's about 40 points back to Leo Lund on 96 ahead of Kian on 85. Obviously, Kian isn't joining us for the final round, so he won't be able to get himself for a spot for third in the championship. We can see Lefted are in 5th on 60 points. We've got the two Mercedes and the AlphaTauri, obviously being Lee Robert and Yano Dobson on 44, followed by Valentino Labella on 40 points, Tony Roche on 38, and Lenny Papinta on 36. I don't believe Lenny's with us either tonight, so he can't get himself any higher in the standings. But having a look through, I can notice at least 5 reserves already. Obviously being Kevin Balash, part of Race Clutch, Jan Herdate, part of TES, and obviously we've got Tom Roberts from Shizhu, Ricardo Benzoni, Kai Pearson, and also I believe we have Nick Bonventer as well here. So 5 reserves, Chris, going into this. It'll be quite an interesting affair, I think, here over at China. And, well, maybe won't be our 2 championship protagonists. Let's take victory or even on the podium here tonight.
Well, only one way to find out is stick with us for what is going to be, I think, a very tense race, particularly for JSD and Joris Kreutzen in particular. They are going to be wanting to keep very clean, even if they end up out of the points just after the first turn. They just need to survive. They are only interested in each other. If they somehow come away on equal points, which is of course possible, from this race, Joris Kreutzen will take the championship on the count of having 3 wins as opposed to JSD's 2.
Yep.
We will see how that turns out. Cloudy, very cloudy qualifying session. Will we have the dreaded 5-place grid penalty? Almost guaranteed.
Oh yes, of course. So we'll most likely have a restart afterwards. After this qualifying session, 18 minutes left to go here, and we can see cars looking to already get out. We can see Kevin Balash there, his car looking ready to head out the pits. So we'll see what he can do on his first run. Obviously, I believe it was last season, took a victory on his only race where he attended, which is back in Spain. So we know he's got that winning mentality in him. Obviously, this season's only been here for 1 or 2 races, hadn't really taken away many points at all. So we'll see what he can do here tonight to just come out ahead. He's a few more cars, and we'll see if it's going to rain, because the track is quite overcast, Chris, as they come through towards turns 1, 2 and 3. And a bit of rain will definitely harm many drivers here on this grid, I think.
Oh yes, rain is the last thing anyone wants on a track that is very technical in nature and carry such an important championship weight. That is the last thing. Some people will probably want it. I mean, those that maybe a reserve driver here for a bit of fun. Some may prefer to have the wet weathers, but we do as commentators because, well, we're like that. We're not the ones driving in it. So who is going to be leading the field? Well, it was Bogdan Moldovan, but one of the Williams and one of the Red Bulls has just gone past him. Riccardo Benzoni has now, he's got a Red Bull nailed to his diffuser. You're not racing yet, gents. Is that Balazs? Yeah, it's Kevin Balazs that is wanting to get out there and get on with it. Absolutely fine. All good with us. But how is this going to transpire? Tom Martinez very late out of the pits in the Aston Martin. And now that tactic didn't quite work too well for some people last time out in Austria. Obviously, much bigger track here in Shanghai. All 20 cars on track. Let's see what the opening times are.
Yeah, and Kevin having a bit of battle there with the Williams as they head down towards turn 14. But that will be, it'll be Riccardo Benzoni. If you know me, it will be OP Benza from the PlayStation side, and Kevin has just opened his DRS and flew past the Williams, as they head down in towards turn 14, where we'll see lots of battling here on the circuit. But we'll see what Kevin can do to open up the session. He'll be the first to start lap. He'll be the first to probably finish up unless he bins it on the way, coming through at the final corner, down towards turn 1. Obviously, bit of DRS in towards that first corner to give you a bit of extra speed. As you can see, they're hitting over 315 kilometers an hour. We've already hit onto the brakes, or slowly starts to hit onto the brakes, up in towards turns 2 and turns 3, just bringing the car around, just struggling to get the car through. Then turn 4 here, Chris, you can see drivers easily spin because this corner is horrible, isn't it, on the traction?
Yeah, it's really difficult just to get everything right. But Kevin Balazs now coming down towards turn 4, kisses the apex, doesn't quite use all the track on the outside line, going to use a bit more, but this is just the banker laps just to get something under their belt. Now the twisties, 7, 8, and down through the gears, trying to scrub off some speed, down towards 9. Then quick burst towards 10. The car getting a little bit unhappy on the traction zone on the 8 of turn 9. Now it's a short run down to turn 11. Really crucial to get this right. So you've got to hug that inside line into 12. If you compromise 11, you won't get 12 right. And then you carry that mistake a very long way. Who is going to slipstream off of who? Well, looking at the field, everyone is actually really spread out. No one wants to give anyone any advantage into qualifying, and I don't really blame him, quite frankly. Oh, Tom Martinez, you might become real popular real quick if you don't get on with it. It's Kevin Balazs just about makes the apex to turn 14. It's a little bit too deep, but still got away with it. Chuck it into turn 16, and the line is upon you quite early. 1:30.2, the opening lap.
Indeed, we'll go on board with JSCs. He comes through. Riccardo Benzoni up to the top there with the 0.225. We've got one of the Hasses coming through. That'll be Bogdan Moldovan there with the 30.401. Jay there into fourth at 0.405. As Lefty goes to the top with the 0.148. Then we'll have a look at Joris, our championship leader. We'll see, second in the championship. We'll see what he can do. Jurna Dovzan goes into second there with the 0.165. So very quick lap times to open up the session. Leo Lund there having a bit of a struggle with the woman at 30.583. Andre Molnar into P7. Nick Bonventre into the top 5 as Antonio Labella goes into third position. What can Joris do? Can he get himself higher than Jay? Yes, he does. To the top for Joris to the 0.846. A brilliant lap to open up the session. Look at that there. It's over nearly 2 tenths quicker than now Kai Pearson, who's into P2.
Oh, that's an opening lap. Jan Halliday comes over the line of the Red Bull, 1:30.028. Kai Pearson just behind with 30.045. More laps coming onto the board. Just 4 drivers without one. Tom Roberts comes over the line at 30.4. What about Quintino? That was invalid for the Ferrari driver. Just Tom Martinez, but he started his lap very late and has got a very empty track as a result. So he actually timed his exit from the pit lane fairly well. Comes through the final turn. What does he get on the board? Oh, wow, that's fourth of 30.104. That's only 0.7 of a second from top to bottom. And, I mean, you're minus 1.5 tenths from Leo Lund to Tom Roberts. Just over half a second for 18 cars. And this isn't a short lap either. That's quite something.
And you look at one driver in particular, JSD, down in 17th with a 1:30.405, nearly 6 tenths off the back of the time from Joris. Obviously, if Joris was to finish first now and Jay was to finish where he is, Joris would win easily, win by about 23 points. So, Jay needs to evaluate what do you do wrong in that first run and get it fixed, otherwise he's going to be in a lot of trouble coming in towards this race. You can see the now just entering into the pits. I thought he hit the wall for a second as he got very close to the inside at the pit entry. And also, Chris, his pit entry as well, it's a bit of an odd one as well, isn't it, compared to others? You can sometimes get a little bit caught off guard and go a bit too deep in towards that entry.
You can. I mean, yeah, many moons ago, back in, I think it was 2008, was where Lewis Hamilton actually beats his McLaren on literally shredding tyres because there was gravel on the outside line of that pit lane entry. For some bizarre reason, someone thought it was a good idea to put...
Jan.
Oh?
He hit the
What
wall.
has Jan done?
He hit the wall. He went too deep. He did what Hamilton did. He literally just hit the wall. Luckily, though, the car didn't DNF, but... Whew, that was a scary moment there for Jan Halliday.
Can you imagine?
Well,
look at Ballas straight back out there. We've got a little bit of sunshine. We're starting to see some shadows out there, but Ballas is straight back out on circuit.
A little bit different to everyone else. Obviously, a lefty joining, but obviously Ballas went out quite early, didn't he, at the start of the qualifying session. He's gone for it yet again. But talking about crashing in pit lanes, last night in Austria for the WRT, well, notice I did the same thing in Austria, and he hit the curb, bounced over, and then went back into pits. Took the wrong pit entry. He took the little bit of concrete that's left of the main one, and ended up hitting the wall and DNFing.
Oh dear.
So it's not the first time it has happened, and I don't think it will happen here tonight. It was close to Jan, but I think he's probably learnt his lesson now and thought, yeah, we'll go a little bit slower in towards the pits. But yeah, Ballas going out very early along with Lefted and Andre Mona. Obviously, Andre hasn't been here for many rounds, had an issue with his wheel not arriving to his house or something with it, or it being broke, hence why he couldn't race. But now he's back here for the final round, so we'll see what he can do. But look at the times though further down. We can see there Bogdan and Andre on the exact same time with the 0.401. They're a little bit off the pole time, but still shows, Chris, how close everyone is on the grid.
You don't usually see, the real heavy times coming out straight away. Usually there's a bit of a build up to it. So I think that is also testament to the fact that this track is a bit less familiar. So people not taking the chances and leaving their banker laps to the very last. But we have got a bit of a field spread on who's come out of the pits. We've still got a couple of cars still in there. That is Leroy Brown that's still in there. But there is a Red Bull. I believe there's a Red Bull just starting their lap. And look at the amount of traffic there's going to meet them. That is Ballas. Oh, he's going to hit a lot of traffic.
He will definitely. If you look at one of the McLarens, that'll be JSC. They're all coming through towards that middle set today. You can see them all trying to push each other through. Penalties being given left, right, and centre now. That will be for Valentino Labella in that second set to JSC, just following him behind. We can see now Kevin coming down in towards turn number 4 and 5. We'll see what he can do towards this braking zone at turn 6. Up by over a tenth and a half there. 23.607 in the first set. So very strong there for Kevin so far in the Red Bull. Coming round now in towards turn number 7 before he hits back to right at turn number 8, and then yet again back to left for turn number 9. Very squiggly section here in this middle set, so that Kevin has to navigate himself through. And luckily, Chris, I think all these cars should move over on the straight front to get himself through.
Well, he's got to get there first, and that's compromised. Yeah, that's done. That was very unfortunate. Ferrari in the way. That was Exafox, who's actually up into 5th position, but sadly he was in the wrong place at the wrong time for the Red Bull. That could be not looked at pleasantly from a steward's perspective, as Bogdan Moldovan decides he wants his name on the penalty board as well. A few more lap times have now been begun.
Joris.
Joris is out there again quite early to get his next run done. So not just resting in his laurels, not just letting the timer tick by. And, well, again, he recognizes how important this race is. He's got to get it done. He's got to beat his arch rival JST. Where is the McLaren? Just started his. Well, there's Mark Schluter as well with the. We knew it was going to happen. Doesn't seem to matter how big the track is. I mean, if we can end up with blooming half a dozen penalties at Spa of all places, then it doesn't really matter where we are. These penalties will still arise. But JST didn't look too comfortable coming out of turns 3 and 4. So this may well not be too much of an improvement for the McLaren. No, when he hits the end of the next time sector.
Indeed, I'm on board with Joris now. He's just coming through in towards turn number 13. He's up by 10.5 in the first and second set to combine, so he's looking very strong on this next run. Could be looking to put himself in onto a 0.6 here. His lefty goes into P2, the 0.976 there. The second driver to enter into the 1 minute 29s. Now Joris into the brake zone at turn 14. Very late in the brakes, just throws the car and gets back in the panels nice and early. Brings the car around as he prepares now for the final corner at turn number 16. We'll see what he can do through here. Just throws the car into there. Up towards the line. What will it beat for Joris? A 0.5. A brilliant lap there from Joris Krozen now to extend that gap to nearly 4/10 to left it. As we can see, Kai Pearson pop himself into second. JST, he's heading through in towards turn 16 shortly. We'll see what he can do on this second run. Is it an improvement for James Valentin and Labella? Back up to third. What can the McLaren do? JST into third there with a 0.795. I think he'll be a bit more happy with that lap time, but still, Chris, that's 2/10 back off the lap time of his championship rival.
That's really quite scary from Joris, isn't it? That's a huge statement of intent to be. But we've seen this before, haven't we? A real storming, real storming performance in qualifying doesn't always necessarily translate into a guaranteed, strong race victory. But that, if anything else, it plays into the mental game, doesn't it? The getting into your opponent's head. So great effort there from Joris. Who can beat it?
Well, it's going to be a struggle because that lap time is absolutely brilliant there from Joris Krozen. Indeed, he's still, over 2/10 ahead of Kai Pearson in second, or pretty much 2/10 ahead of Kai Pearson in second. We got Andre Molnar heading back in towards the pit lane. Leroy Brown into 5th position there. Brilliant from him to get himself a little bit higher up in this grid. Obviously left it as well, sitting in P6 at the moment. And we'll see if any more lap times are coming through. Is Tom Martinez on a lap? He's heading to... No, he's not. He's over a second down in the first. Obviously went out very late at the start of the session. We'll see what he does here. This time I believe he went for a lap and just hasn't managed to find an improvement on his time. Couldn't sit in the top 10 for the Aston Martin team. Further back, obviously, lots of Quintino still couldn't really get much of a good run on the board. He's on the 30.3, along with the likes of Ivan Santamaria and Tom Robertson. Ivan yet again just hasn't had the season that he wanted. Big shame to see him yet again down at the bottom of the grid. Obviously Kevin Balash as well, a driver who looked strong at the start of the session. Obviously without getting that improvement in the middle, in the second lap, obviously getting blocked off by, I believe it was Exafox. He's now finding himself quite near the bottom of the grid, and he's going to have to find yet again a massive improvement. And Chris, already, he's about to start his lap.
Well, he's going to be hoping that he gets that exit from turn 14 absolutely right, with potential traffic in the way. No, he's coming up to one of the AlphaTauris, and he's... Well, I mean, that corner's not so bad, but he needs to get this one absolutely right. There's a slight break, and he does indeed get that next corner right. He backed off just at the right moment, give himself the breathing space. So then he starts what could potentially be his final lap of the session, 1:30.2, his target.
As he heads through now up in towards 1, 2 and 3, down towards turn 4, yet again at the left-hand side. Very easy to lock the car on the entry and also on the exit, lose that traction. Very nice there from Kevin Sofa. We'll see what he can do in that first sector. Will it be much of an improvement for the Red Bull? And what will it be? He's up by 74,000, so it is an improvement. Definitely could improve by at least 1 or 2 positions here in this qualifying session so far, but he's done this, so, he's only 10th back off Yurnay in 13th as he heads through in towards turn 7 now. A long left-hander before you hit a long right-hander at turn 8. You want to shift down to about 5th gear, then you can get the power running towards turn 9, back on the brakes into that corner, back on the power as you head through towards turn 10. Very easy to get the car squiggly on there, but he controls it through very finely now in towards turn 11. 2/10 improvement so far. This could put him up in towards P8 here in this session, just ahead of his teammate Jan Halliday as he exits through towards turn 13. Brings the car round back down towards this straight with the DRS in towards turn 14. Chris, this looks like it's going to be a brilliant lap time here from Kevin, at least a top 10 here.
Could well be. It was a purple sector 2 as well, so there's pace yet in that Red Bull. We knew it was blocked on the last lap. We're in the Banzai phase now. Look at the cars all streaming out of the pit lane. That will be of no consequence to Kevin, because his lap will, of course, be done well before he finds any traffic. Over to the right-hand side. Gets... No, he bails.
Is he going to go again?
He was up on... Yeah, he's hurrying back into the pit lane, but... Oh, wow, okay. So he felt then that there was probably more time in Sector 1, because he was purple, according to my screen, on Sector 2.
Yeah.
He's going to have to book it to get that car turned around, back out on track, and hope to God the traffic behaves itself. That's a risk. That's a big risk from Kevin Ballas. I'm surprised he didn't go to complete that lap.
Indeed, and well, we come down to what is going to be the final runs of the final qualifying session here in this championship. Joris on pole position ahead of JSC. If the race was finished first and third for those two, it would be Joris who takes away the championship. So we want to know in the live chat who you're here to support tonight. You're here for Joris, you're here for Jay, who will also take pole position. That's what we want to know from everyone in the chat. And Kevin has retired from the session in the pits. So a bit of an odd strategy there from Kevin to go back into the pits after he was improving on his lap to then retire because he hasn't got time to go again.
That makes
rather
no sense
odd.
at all. Why didn't he finish the lap? He was up on his sector 2 time, unless he felt that he can't blame anybody else for that last run. He was completely on his own. He should have finished. Why didn't he finish the lap?
I don't know.
I was watching him. It didn't look like he'd binned it anywhere. So I don't know. I'm lost for words on that one. But someone that isn't lost for words, he's got a bit of traffic ahead of him. JST, championship contender. He's just coming up to the final turn. He's given himself space. He floors it. The Playing Ducks McLaren is now starting his final lap.
As he heads up towards turn 1, DRS activated. Joris gets a 5-place grid penalty, but nothing is meaning of that. Obviously, we'll have a restart afterwards. Up towards turns 1, 2, and 3 is JS, just trying to throw the car in down to second gear, just trying to put as much power as he can through the car, through the corners, into turn 4, back on the power, going more on the exit to get himself a decent run, get himself some nice traction as he heads through towards a bit of a kink at turn 5 before the brake zone at turn 6. Is he up in that first sector? Yes, he's 16 thousandths of an improvement for Jay. He has a bit of a slide in towards turn 6, could have lost some minimum speed through there on the apex. Back on the power now, in towards turn 7 at the left side, keep it in gear 6, throw the car through, just keep it flowing towards turn 8 yet again, down to 5th gear, just pulls it through and gets back on the power as he heads down into the brakes, into turn 9 now for the final time, into turn 10. Bit of a snap there from the car as he heads up towards turn 11. This could be a really good improvement here, Chris.
It's looking good. I'm running on board with Joris Cross, and he was very uncomfortable. He got a bit of a snap of oversteer coming through turn 3. This may already be compromised. He's 12,000 down, albeit on a very, very strong lap already. So then, JST on that back straight. He's got cars ahead of him that will complete their final laps. No disrespect to anybody else. Everyone is out there fighting for points. But of course, our main focus is on the McLaren of JST and on the Alpine of Joris Kreutzen. Benzoni gets over the line with a 29.8. Tom Martinez with a 29.9. Who is next to come over the line? It was Tom Roberts, 8th with 29.9. JST improves in time but not position. He will start no higher than 3rd.
That could be an issue though, because loads of people behind are improving heavily. I'm going to go on board Joris as he heads down in towards turn 14. Valentin Lebel there, 1,000th back off of Ricardo Benzoni's time, sits himself into P5. Leo Lund won't start any higher than P11. Bogdan Moldvan only managing 15th. That'll be Mark Schluter into the top 6. Has left it now, takes that P6 away from him. 3/10 back from Lebel. Jan Halliday into P7. Can Joris find improvement? Big slide through the final corner. What can he do? Up to the line, doesn't find an improvement. Then we've got Leroy Brown coming through as well. We'll see what he can do in towards turn 16. I believe he might have let off his time. Yes, he has, or unless he just carried a little bit of slow speed through, we'll see what he can do. As we can see, Kai doesn't improve either in 2nd. Leroy doesn't improve on position in 10th place. That'll be X Fox in towards P12. Nick Bonventer doesn't improve from P15. Can Santa Maria find an improvement from P20? This isn't very odd for him on a 30.339. Can he get himself higher? No, he can't. He will start P20 in this race. I don't think he found any improvements on that lap whatsoever. So Chris, Joris on pole, Jay in 3rd. Now, no changes at all.
Wow.
Really, between anyone in that top 5 there.
No, indeed, but there it is. Joris Kreutzen taking the top spot alongside Kai Pearson. Oh, what might have been if Kai had been with us a little bit more often. Where might he be championship-wise? And 2 race-close drivers on the front row. Well, that could be spicy. JST and Benzoni on row 2. Valentino Labella and lefted row 3. Jan Halliday, Mark Schluter, row 4. Andre Molnar and Leroy Brown, row 5. Gabriel Quintino and Exafox, row 6. Tom Roberts and Tom Martinez, row 7. Nick Bonventre and Leo Lund, row 8. Bogdan Moldovan and Yone Dovzan in row 9, with Kevin Ballas and Ivan Santa Maria at the back of the field.
Indeed, and obviously, lots of Yone, Kevin and Ivan just couldn't find those final lap times, and they're so far back. They're over half a second off those ahead in the field. But I'm looking through, we had 2 Mercedes together shown a row. We had 2 Hasses shown a row, along with 2 Ferraris shown a row as well on the field. So many teams very, very close together going into this race. Now, that poses issues because They have to pit, will then have to pit multiple different laps apart from each other. They can't go into the pits together. So if a safety car was to arrive, that will cause some issues. But we have the migrating host, of course, as we will move towards a new session shortly to proceed with the race. And, well, it's hard to say who will win it because Joris has looked strong in quali, Chris, but we've seen before he can sometimes be done over in that race pace, which Jay seems to have knuckled in quite a lot here.
Yeah, we are in for a night of surprises. Absolutely no doubt about it. Whether it's going to be dry, apparently, boo. I would have loved to have seen. Leave it on dynamic and leave it alone. But that's a topic for another discussion. There are those that feel quite strongly that it should be dynamic. There are those that feel it should be what the weather would have been had we have rolled on with the current session. I'm not involved in that. I just turn up, scream for a while, and disappear again. I let others deal with the league administration. I've had my time of that, and I don't envy them at all because you can never ever please everybody. But what a finale we've got! JST literally staring into the diffuser of his championship rival on that run down to turn one. JST, he felt he had stronger race pace than qualifying pace, as we've seen quite a bit throughout the season. Joris Krotzen, still did very well. He couldn't make it 4 out of 4 wins leading into Austria, was still inside the top 5. So, he's still a force to be reckoned with.
Indeed, I think we've got a very good race upcoming. Of course, JSC isn't new to winning championships here in WR. Back in Season 11, for the first PC season, he did take the championship, obviously, in Tier 2 against Primoz Vlahovic. The gap between those two into that race was 3 points. So, if Jay's ever won a championship, it's never been an easy job. He's always had to fight for it in that final round. In previous championships, we've seen the championships pretty much disappear before the final couple of rounds. But obviously, Jay, in Season 11 and here tonight in Season 16, doesn't really have that chance. He's still going to push as hard as he can to try and win it, and we'll see if he can do so. Obviously, in China, hasn't really scored any higher than 6th in his last 2 appearances here, so it isn't a strong track from what we've seen. But obviously, sometimes the woes and results don't mean how quick a driver is. Sometimes he could have a bit of unluckiness, and all of those different factors could come into play. So we'll see what he can do here tonight. And a bit of a fun fact: both of these two DNF'd in Monaco.
They did. They're one and only DNF all season long in the same place, which, I mean, Monaco is a DNF fest anyway because of the nature of the circuit. But the person who won that one is on the grid with us, left-it actually. That being his one win this season, topped off a 3rd to 2nd to 1st podium run for the Irishman in the first 3 rounds. Then the next 3 only scored 2 points and then missed 3. So 3 seems to be some kind of number for left-it, it would seem. So the field is just rejoining the session now, as the grid will be rebuilt according to the results that we have just seen. We know it's going to be dry weather, so weather is not going to play a factor. I can kind of get it for a championship finale, but the real life F1 doesn't get to play God with weather either. So in my opinion, leave it alone. But I'm going to say I'm just a lowly commentator. I don't deal with the running of things. It's impossible to say. But chat, have your voice, have your say. Who are you here to support? Who is going to come away with the title? Who could be neither of our championship contenders coming away with the win? We know that obviously Joris has got the pole spot. Doesn't mean he's going to take the top spot on the podium. Doesn't have to. JST and Joris Krotzen only concentrating on where each other are. Whoever wins out of those two, it's going to take the season title.
Indeed, I think there's still another 18 drivers on the grid, and obviously Kai Pearson's he's a very strong driver, obviously part of Race Quick recently, one of the quickest over on Xbox, so I think we can also count him in for the victory here tonight. But looking in the chat, we can see Lillian here in support of Joris, says Joris champion, I hope. I'm sure he's got a very good chance at doing it, obviously being a couple of positions ahead of Jay going into this race, obviously being 2 points back, 1 point back, obviously he needs to outscore Jay by 2 to win it. Obviously if it was 1st and 3rd, he would easily win it by about 10 points. Evening Avatar, welcome in. And Jack says, just finished watching Tier 3, what have you missed? Joris is on pole, ahead of Kai, ahead of Jay in the top 3. Obviously 1 point separating Joris and Jay. Obviously Jay on 132 and Joris on 131. And Gwilt says, go RC. So lots of support here in the chat for the race. Clutch team obviously being Joris Crozon, of course, and as well, Matteo says Benza is peaking. Of course, that is Ricardo Benzoni. Very good for him. P4 in his first appearance here tonight in WR Tier 2 tonight. So he could also be someone who's looking for a podium or a victory. It's been a little bit of an unknown territory for him here on the PC side, but that definitely can't count him out of it indeed. And luckily, Chris, we've got 20 drivers in. We've got Jay now setting up the lobby. So that means within the next 30 seconds, we should be getting ready to go under lights here at China.
For the final time in this season. How many times have we said throughout the season that this has been one of the best track lineups? There's so many races to look forward to, and we really haven't been disappointed all season long. Some lesser crazy races than others. Well, that's the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
But this one was always going to be quite special. Well, we knew that right at the beginning of the season because of the fact that it's not so well known by the drivers as pretty much every other circuit we've been to. But to have the championship separated by only 1 point, well, you, Mr. Ritchie, wanted it to be close by the end of the season. Your wish was granted.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be this close, that's for sure. You know, I'm always an advocate of having a close championship battle and having a final, battle on the final race. And, well, I think it definitely met my expectations quite well. Being 1 point apart, yeah, I thought maybe we'd have like a 10-point battle. Not exactly 1 point, so this is literally one of those where whoever's in front will take it pretty much here between those two. So I think we're going to have a cracking battle in the race. And we'll see if Kai can work together with Yost maybe to try and, disrupt the McLaren's path. Obviously, a little bit further behind, we've got Mark Street. We know that him and Jay work together a lot. Obviously, they're part of the same team. McLaren have been the same on the same team pretty much since Mark and Jay have been here in Tier 2. So I expect to see Mark trying to help in if he can here. And now, obviously, Mark took... I believe it was a victory back earlier on in the season, wasn't it? It was at least a podium when he didn't quite expect it.
Well, in a field this close, you could be forgiven for not expecting a podium anywhere because the difference between victory and bad defeat can be pixels in distance. So. Yeah, in fairness, with how close every single grid has been all season long, the blink and you miss it kind of performance differences in some cases. But from what we've seen so far, Joris has, judging by pure quality pace alone, which in itself is not always a good indicator, but it is an indicator nonetheless, Joris does look like he has a bit of a pace advantage. Can JST put that aside and just concentrate on his race pace, which by his own admission is a bit better than his quali pace? We will see.
Yeah, it's going to be close. It's one of those where you can't really call who's going to win it. Normally you have an idea, but here we know that Jay always strives in the race. He's never really on pole. I don't think he's took pole position here this season once, and he's had 2 victories and he's had 5 podiums. So, it shows that being a little bit further down doesn't really affect him too much in terms of results. Obviously, Joris has took 3 victories in a row back from round 7, 8 and 9, obviously between Mexico, Portugal and Belgium. Got 4th place back in Austria, which was quite a surprise. Obviously, he went for a weird strategy, didn't he? He went for a medium to hard, which didn't really pay off in the end. Everyone else went for a hard medium. Obviously, or it was a soft medium, I can't remember. Obviously, that strategy that Joris did not work whatsoever, and obviously dropped down. And if it was maybe 2 or 3 more, that's could have found himself down to P6 and 7 because he was being swamped up by the time he got to the end of that race. So, going into this race, Joris needs to get back on top of that strategy and get the key strategies to work. Obviously, he's got his teammate, Kai, obviously part of Race Coach, who can help him if he needs to. There's no rules here about who can't help who. They can work together. So we'll see if any of that element gets into it. But Chris, we can see now on our screens, we are looking to enter the race.
We're heading trackside. So we know what the weather's going to do. We know how the grid is formed. 20 drivers heading to Shanghai once more. 2 with their hands on opposite sides of the trophy. So, who's it going to be? Do you want to take this one, good sir? You've let me start quite a few. You take the finale start, sir.
Oh, thank you, Chris. We'll see what happens then to turn 1. I'm a little bit rusty on the race start, so hopefully we get a bit of less of a chaotic one. So I've got a black screen.
I don't mind doing it. I thought I'd give you a change.
No, it's fine. If you're going to offer it, why not? And the issue is I've got a black screen here, which isn't
So I'll same here.
Good signs. You see that screen and you say, please wait, and you're thinking, oh no, please,
Oh,
lobby,
no.
don't crash. When we're in.
Oh,
Oof,
yeah.
that was a scare for a second. But let's know in the chat, everyone, who you think will win, because, Chris, this could be a cracking finale here tonight at China.
We can only hope that the race isn't concluded by turn 1 on lap 1. But even if our main championship protagonists are kind of dealt an unfortunate hand, there's plenty of other drivers that will make this race entertaining. That I am sure.
Indeed, and well, we'll be looking at the drivers shortly going to get their setups, get all the words with their engineers team, what they're going to do in terms of strategy, get everything pitch perfect for the start of this Chinese Grand Prix track we don't see very often, so it's a bit of an unknown on strategy as well around this circuit, so we'll see what works and what favours other drivers. Obviously, we might see a bit of difference in strategy just due to people's preferences on overcuts and undercuts, but hopefully soon we can see the 20 cars get ready to head down towards that first corner. A very weird uphill first corner that is here at China. So I'm sure we'll see lots of side-by-side battling towards that first sector. Then down to turn 6 as well. We'll see many moves being made on that opening lap. We should shortly see the cars pop on our screens very shortly. And I love this very, very long wait, Chris. It is quite annoying, isn't it, at times? As we can now see, we got 2, 3, 4, and 5 lights here for the finale here at WR Tier 2. Joris versus Jay. Who will take victory here tonight as they head off down to turn 1? And we got a good start from the top 2. And Jay's got a perfect start into turn 1. He's going to be looking to get past Kai already in towards that first corner. Around the outside goes JSD into P2. Can he try and keep himself and try and get P1 from Joris? I don't think he can as they head down towards the first couple of corners. We can see on our screens it will be hard for Jay, hard for Joris and for Kai. And what a perfect start there from JSD.
He needed to. He had to leave for a Kai. He did not want to race close pair to work together, but Kai look at the inside of turn 4. Can he get it done? No, it's still side by side. It's still very uncomfortably close for him, well, for JSD and for Kai Pearson. But JSD, the McLaren, does manage to muscle his way through into second position without allowing Joris to break DRS. So he tries him in. Kai couldn't quite hold off, I should say, JSD. But the rest of the field does seem to have made its way through without too many incidents. There is a penalty already. Andre Molnar has got a 5-second penalty for apparently an impact with Yellow Dovzan, I believe it was. Oh, Smoochie Sue balances round. The Red Bulls had a night to forget. That is up at turn 12. The Red Bull has plummeted down the field.
Chris, can you have a quick look at the settings to check if the penalties are on? We can see battling towards turn 14. JSC looking to defend from Kai Pearson here for P2, but Kai's got a decent run as they head out of turn 14 in towards the final corner. Can Kai get that P2 back from Jay? They go side by side, and there's contact! Kai's off the circuit in towards turn 16. Now that will be a controversial move there in the race. I'm not sure what happened between the two, but Kai flew off the circuit, and yeah, Luke says in the chat that someone jumped the start. I think that was Mark maybe. And obviously just want to see if the penalties are enabled. I don't want to tab out at the moment to check, but I think they are, as we've got penalties all flying through. We've got Andre with one along with Kevin as well. So they should be on here, I think.
Yeah, as far as I can see, they're on. As Andre Molnar and a penalty getting off the start line. I thought he jumped the start, but may not necessarily be the case. But he did get a penalty for hitting Yene Dovzan. And yeah, Kevin Balash has retired from the session. So, oh dear, not happy people. Tom Roberts has gone through the pit lane in the Williams, so he comes out on a set of hard tyres. So what can he do from there? Jan Halliday, medium starting set, as he is now staring at the back of Valentina Labella, who's got his way up into second place. What can he do from there? That's at the moment, whilst that was a good opening lap from Joris Krutzen, it's not really paid anything as JST is still in his tyre tracks. Oh, championship protagonist. Oh, 1-2.
As they head back down towards turn number 14, but we can see Valentin Labella to the outside of Jay. Can he try and take the lead away from Joris? Does he go for it? No, he backs off. So he's not keen to get back, but Jay's going to go for it as well into turn 14, looking to battle with the Alfa Romeo on the exit the corner. They head back up towards turn 16, and this time Jay has the position covered into the final corner. They exit through in towards turn 1 yet again, and still the two championship protagonists, 1 and 2, here in this race. Jan Halliday with the fastest lap. He's looking to try and gain him, make some key positions in this race. He's currently in P4 now. The DRS is enabled on this lap, so this will see some extra speed being given to the drivers down towards turn 1 and down towards turn 14, as we can see see Leo Lund as well, Chris. He's had a good start, obviously on the soft tyres, now into P7. We'll see if he can try and get past Mark Schluter for P6.
Yone Dobson as well has had a good start on the medium tyres. Speaking of Leo Lund in the Haskers, the inside line on Mark Schluter coming up towards turn 6. Can he get that one done? Lots of locked up tyres. I did say that was going to be a hot spot there in 6, but he manages to get the job done. Andre Molnar and Tom Martinez there side by side. The Aston Martin takes the outside line around 7, gets the inside for 8. Can he keep Martinez at bay? Molnar at bay. What he can, for now at least. That battle is not yet done. Jan Halliday's looking for a move on the inside of Labella. No, he doesn't commit to it. He wants to get the move done along that back straight. The medium shot Aston Martin, Red Bull, beg your pardon, completely wrong team, is now looking for a move. But he did not have a good run through 13. He lost so much of that valuable momentum. So JST is going to use the DRS to get back up behind Joris Kreutzen. He's just positioning himself. He needs to keep his battery going. Whoa, as the McLaren nearly slammed into the back of the Alpine. Oh, that would have been a little bit nasty. Leland makes another position. Schluter and Gabriel Quintino are arguing for 7th place. So several different tyre strategies being used. But is it going to pay off? Here comes the Ferrari. Quintino on Schluter. So that's another position that the ETM McLaren has lost.
Indeed, yet Mark just starting to drop down through the race. Obviously, all those that have got passing are on a softer compound of tyre as they head through towards turns 3 and 4 once again. We can see lots of lefted also gaining in on the back of Mark Schluter. Currently further back, we can see Moldovan ahead of Andre Molnar. Andre dropping down in this race. Not a good start for him at all. Penalty on the opening lap, along with now dropping down positions. We can see Jan Halliday out the inside of Labella in towards turn 6, trying to go for the move up the inside. Gets a better exit, but Labella's going to stick with him as they go side by side into turn 7. And no, Jan Halliday just about gets that position ahead of the Alfa Romeo. So now it's going to be Joris ahead of Jay, ahead of Jan Halliday. The 3 J's in the top 3 as they all head through in towards turns 9 and 10. And this time, Chris, I'm keen to see, does Jay get forced to make a move for the lead because of Jan being so close behind here?
I don't think he's going to pay a bit of attention to Jan at all. If we were near the beginning of the season, perhaps. But JST doesn't really care what Jan Halliday is going to do unless he's going to sit in between himself and Joris Kreutzen. I mean, Jan Halliday's got no particular allegiance in either direction as far as I'm aware. But now is going to be a time for letting the strategy play out. Here comes Leo Lund, though. He's just going all gung-ho on those soft tyres, exactly what he needs to do. So Leo Lund gets up into 4th position now. That's 12 positions up from where the Haas began.
As Ben Zonin there defending from Mark Schluter in towards turn 14, keeps that position ahead of the McLaren just for now as they head all back down in towards turn 1 once again for the 5th time in this race. It's still going to be Joris leading away as they head up the hill, and obviously Jay not going to go for a move here unless Joris makes a large mistake. He'll just stick behind the back of the Alpine and just put himself along. This is the best position for Jay because he can hold some of his battery more than Joris can, obviously having that DRS instead of having to use some battery in towards some of those critical corners as they head down to turn 6. Jan's looking to gain him, but that advantage is slowly starting to die off for the medium runners. Leo, though, still looking strong on those softs. We'll see if he can try and get involved. These 3, obviously Jay, Joris and Leo are sitting 1, 2, 3 in the standing. So we'll see if Leo wants to get involved in this battle a little bit, get his elbows out in this race as they head through up in towards turn number 6 and 7 shortly, in towards turns 9 and 10. And so far, though, Chris, Leo's having a really good race. Has a bit of a misfortune, hasn't he, over the past few rounds? Obviously, taking a podium back in Austria, but then before that, only scoring 1 point in the past 3 rounds. So, looking for him tonight, it could be some decent points. And further back, we can see move between Lefty and Yerne.
And also, Gabriel Quintino hustling Valentin Labella. Can't get the move done on his fellow countryman. But the Ferrari's battery is nearly done. So, Gabriel Quintino has really pushed hard to try and improve his position. There goes JST. He has decided to use the overspeed along with DRS and probably a little bit of ERS as well. So the McLaren now up into the lead. You can expect that to change hands quite a few times. Confirmation, ladies and gentlemen, the lobby settings are correct. So there is not going to be any need for restart. There was a yellow flag out briefly. I think Andre Molnar has had a bit of a moment. He's coming into the pits. I suspect that is going to be the end of his race. So are we going to see the 5-second one come out? Oh, no, he's decided to brake for the board. So Andre Molnar then has decided to retire. Oh,
for a second, Leo I thought went round. He had a tap from Valentino and lost the rail a little bit coming through towards turn 4. Sorry about that one, Chris.
No, all good. Andre Molnar has decided to retire the car. I think there was concerns that there was desync with Andre Molnar because he was the one that had that strange penalty off the start. So sad end for his season. But the stage is very much set for a absolutely transfixing race. 22 laps here, and our championship pair just staring each other down at this point.
Indeed, and obviously with the gap being 1 point, it means if any of them finish first and the other one finishes second, one in first, will win the championship, no matter what. As you see them yet again heading down in towards turn number 14. Jan Halliday trying to gain him, but Leo Lund's also looking to gain in the back of the Red Bull, so we'll see if he can try and make a move for P3. In the race further back, we can see that Uppbeat continue defending as Leo Lund sends it into turn 14 on the Red Bull. Slight bit of contact. That's going to be Lebel looking to try and wade through. They go side by side in towards turn number 16, and I think Leo's just about got it done on Halliday. Yes, he has. Brilliant move there from Leo Lund to get himself ahead of the medium runner of Jan Halliday. As we can see further back, that was left it there. I think got a little bit wide off circuit, but he's got himself back on and still in his position. But Lebella there nearly looked to try and take a couple of drivers in towards turn 14, but obviously had to back out in towards turn 16. Wasn't going to make it 3 wide there whatsoever as they all file through in towards turn 4 again. And now Benzoni is looking to close in there on the back of Lebella.
How far back did Leo Lund send his ass? That was unreal how far back. He managed to get it slowed down. Yes, there was a tiny bit of impact between himself and Jan, but it wasn't, race ending or anything. It was just a very, very long way back. But that you do tend to see that down at 14 because of the closing speed of how fast you are. You're nearly at 200 miles an hour. Well, you pretty much are at 200 miles an hour. What's it, 360 kilometers an hour coming into that braking zone? So any wonder that you will see those trying to make those very damn dare moves. So then, all three tire softness represented in the top 5. JST leading the way. Joris Crutzen nearly with a full battery in the Alpine, dragging Leo Lund along for the ride. The McLaren, even though he doesn't have DRS, he was still putting his car into a defensive position right in the middle of the track on the way down towards the braking zone of turn 14. Now, where will Leo Lund pit is going to be one question. Not at the moment. He feels he's got some tyre life left. He wants to get involved in the battle with the top 2. Well, championship-wise, he's not in it, but there's nothing to say he can't get involved in that battle, which is the last thing that Joris will want right now. They do not want anybody invading their party, but you can guarantee that there's plenty of people looking to get involved in that lead battle. Leo Lund, of course, being the closest, but I don't think his tyres are going to last too much longer. Shanghai is not kind on tyres, so I can't imagine Leo Lund's going to go too much longer.
No, you can see, I think he's starting to lose a bit of time there. You can see a brilliant exit from Jan Halliday there on the back of the Haas as they head through towards turn 7. Yeah, you can see Leo. If it's one driver that will look to get himself involved tonight, it will be Leo Lund. He'll look for it. That's Leo's type of mentality. If he wants to get himself a bit of airtime, he'll do it as they head through towards turns 9 and 10. So we'll see if Leo can go for a bit of attack on Joris next time around. Obviously, Jan looking to close in as well on the back of the Haas. And the issue we get sometimes, if you see the likes of Jan and Leo closing in, it then forces Joris and Jay to make a move. And there's big contact at the back. And that's going to be Exafox having a spin with Kai Pearson, it seems, making contact at the exit of turn 10. That's a bit of an odd place.
Dear.
Obviously, making Kai's day go from bad to worse as they head down towards turn number 14. Does any moves be made? Yes, there will. Joris takes the lead ahead of Jay, and Leo just tucks back in, doesn't go for a move on the back of the McLaren. He just stays behind. For now, a bit of contact there between Joris and Jay for a split second. So Joris back ahead of Jay now as I head through in towards turn 16. We can see Leo yet again closing in. We'll see if he goes to remove this one because he's actually quite close to the back of these two ahead.
Oh dear, Kai Pearson is on the front row with the pole sitter. Well, that's a stupid statement. Well, of course, if you're on the front row, of course you're with the pole sitter. But yeah, he was looking to act as Joris's rear gunner, and now finds himself way off the back of the field. Only really a safety car is going to bring him back in play. Stranger things have happened. The barriers aren't that close for the majority of the track. So I can't really see that being a factor as JST nearly hits the back of Joris Crutzen into the braking zone of turn 6. We're hearing quite a bit of tyre squeal now, as I suspect Leo is hanging on to those tyres with with every bit of life he can, hanging on for dear life, it would seem. He's used about half his battery, which everyone around him, quite a few, are near full battery. It's, no one is making the moves. No one's, it's not punch and counter punch at this point. But as we've seen time and again, once the pit stop's done, it is all gloves off, no holds barred.
Indeed, as we can see, though, Jan Halder there having a decent run on the back of Leo as they head down towards turn 14. Does he look to pose a move in this race for P3? No, he moves out the slipstream now. Does Leo look to make a move on the back of Jay, on the back of Joris, because he's gaining in? Is Jay forced to make a move? Yes, he is. Jay goes to the P1. Does Leo to make a send? He goes to the inside. He tries to make a send on Joris. They go side by side. Joris goes deep. They go side by side on the exit. Then towards turn 16. Contact between the two. That could have ended badly. Can Leo send him on the outside? No, he can't. He goes for a switchback, possibly on the back of the Alpine as they head down to turn 1. Then Leo looking to get his elbows, looking to make moves, but he can't find anything back into turn 1. He was looking to get the move ahead of Joris, but Joris, you could see there on those better tries, had more grip just to get his foot down a little bit quicker and pull away from the Haas.
Oh, there was an opportunity for Jay to try and get some breathing space, but Joris just dumped the battery for a few seconds just to keep himself in touching distance of the lead McLaren. But that's exactly what JST wants. He wants Leo Lund to get involved with Joris to try and buy him some time. That's the last thing that Joris is after. He just wants to focus on the McLaren ahead. He doesn't want to be dealing with Leo Lund behind him. Doesn't want to be dealing with anybody. How long, though, can Leo really continue to push and make himself a nuisance in that lead? I'm surprised those tyres haven't absolutely detonated by now. They must be absolutely screaming. Watching the Haas coming through turns 9 and 10, it's not comfortable. He's really struggling in the traction zones. Again, I would think, I thought Leo was going to be in by now. He's defying my pit stop prediction as usual. I mean, I'm quite famed on getting the pit stop predictions completely wrong anyway. Is there going to be any swapping of positions? No. Looks like people are just recharging the battery, making them thinking about the strategy, although saying that along the outside line. That was Halliday on Leo Lund. No change in position though.
Well, I was watching Leo's front and he also nearly hit the back of Joris as well. It was so close between contact between the Haas and the Alpine as they head back to turn 1 again, and Jan Halliday still sticking in behind the back of Leo Lund. Not really made a move yet. Not really, he wouldn't really say he's even pushed for a move to get ahead of Leo Lund just yet. He's just been looking for opportunities where they are. He hasn't really used much battery to try and get past the Haas just yet, but obviously he knows that Leo's still comfortably in that Joris train, so we won't lose any we won't lose any time from just sticking behind the back of the soft runners. They head down towards turn 6 yet again, and to be fair, these softs are keeping on quite well for Leo Lund here in this race. He hasn't lost too much time compared to those ahead, even though his tyres are 10 laps old here for a set of softs. That is quite a long way to take them indeed on your initial stint. Obviously, as well being on higher fuel, it also makes it a little bit slower, obviously being on those softer tyres. So he's done a good job here so far. And then you start to think, Chris, obviously, if Leo can take these softs that long and be so strong, do we see other drivers think, right, you know what, we'll go to a set of softs at the end, because also we'll have less fuel, which will make us even quicker?
It's certainly possible. Leo is sizing up a set of mediums. For probably no point in going for hards at this stage. With only, 17 and a bit laps to go. If he's made the softs last this long, he could probably stretch the mediums to do a pretty impressive stint as well. Onto the back straight once more. Are we going to see a change?
I don't think we will. We're looking to get in there, but no one's really looking to make an overtake in towards the next corner at turn 14. Leo braking late again, nearly hitting the back of Joris as they head through in towards that break zone. Mark Schluter making a move ahead of Ricardo Benzoni there for P7, and we'll see, can Ricardo try and get back? No, sorry, I think it was Ricardo making a move on Mark, through in towards there to get himself into 7th. And Yerne's gone off track, and that's going to cost him some time. And I've got to remember, Chris, didn't Yerne start P17 in this race?
He did.
And he's in P6.
He started 18th.
He's gone
off. He's gone really, really wide at that point. So he's Mark Schluter is trying to capitalise as well. So has he pushed those mediums too hard, I wonder?
I don't know. He had a really weird snap at the final corner and a really weird snap in towards turn 3. So I'm hoping he's got no damage on the back of that AlphaTauri as they heading towards turn 6, looking to try and find a way past the back of Mark. Couldn't do so. Lots of tire smoke there from the rears of both Yone and Mark. We can see Quintino looking to gain back in. He had a very struggling start there. He made a couple of positions but dropped heavily. His Yone's gone really wide. What is happening to Yone here in this race? He's losing so much pace on the same tyres as Quintino. Is that's going to be left? He tried to... Was he been looking to make a move? Yes, he will. Yone's gone off track again, so there must be an issue here for the AlphaTauri. Big shame for Yone here in this race. He must have damage, Chris.
Oh, he's got some kind of technical trouble because he just wandered off the road. There was no reason, and there was no throttle input for a few seconds. So I think that is Yone. That looks like a technical issue to me rather than a tyre issue. There's no reason those mediums would be struggling that badly. So I think he's got some kind of technical problem there. I would expect, well, I wouldn't be surprised, I should say, if Yone decides to park it at the end of the lap.
Indeed, as we can see yet again, Leo Lund now looking to lose even more time on the back of Joris St. J, but he's still holding on quite well, so he can keep going. Now he goes into pits. He flew off of our screens in towards the pit lane. Now he'll make a pit stop off of those softs, and Mark Schluter off of them hards already. Very early stop from him. We'll see what he goes on to, because that is very early there for the McLaren of Mark Schluter, along with obviously Yone as well into the pit. So we'll see what Mark chooses to do. What will it be for him? A set of medium tyres. Yone retiring from the race. It'd be nice to know what happened to him, if anyone could let us know. And Leo Lund also onto a set of medium tyres, so we'll see what that can do for them in this race. But obviously that overcut working quite well normally around most circuits. Could have given Leo Lund an advantage at the start of this race here, at the start of this next stint here in this race, to put himself ahead of Jay and Joris and then become a bit of a, a front runner to hopefully try and defend from both Jay and Joris, and either make their battle even harder or try and get himself a victory here tonight, which I think he's more than capable of doing if the conditions work out to his favour. We can see as well, yellow flag somewhere. That'll be for, I believe, Yone's car heading back onto circuit to DNS. So a big shame indeed for him, who, well, I cursed him a bit, didn't I? I said he's in P6 and then he shoots off the circuit and doesn't end up finding his way anywhere else. So, yeah, big shame.
Big shame indeed. Yeah, that had all the hallmarks of a technical problem. So we'll see if either he or somebody can report on that one. So JST gets himself around about 0.8 of a second gap before the DRS kicks in for everybody else. But again, Joris not pushing too hard to close that in. Jan Halliday just biding his time. Valentino Labella trying not to slam into the back of the Red Bull. So yeah, those that Mark Schluter probably recognised the fact that the softs were holding out, so he's gone for a set of mediums. In comes Valentino Labella. He's going to be doing the same thing in the Alfa Romeo. So a set of yellow-walled medium tyres then for him. Perfectly on the halfway stage. Half the race done. Still half to go.
Indeed, and we'll see what happens next as they all head through in towards turn number 4 once again, and it's still Jay and Joris leading the way as they head down in towards turn number 6. We can see as well Gabriel Contino looking to lose that 1 second gap to Ricardo Benzoni. That will definitely cost him a lot of time, especially with that DRS's X-Fox also retires in the pit lane. So another retirement here in this race, 4 retirements within 14 laps, which is definitely a big shame to see here in this race, but there's still 16 runners. Obviously, Tom Roberts still quite far back in this round after that miss. I don't know what happened to him at turn 1. He must have got into contact with someone earlier on in the race, hence why he pitted so early on. We can see Leroy Brown running there with Lefted and Tom Martinez as they all head down towards turn 11. We'll see if any moves can be made there between those guys. There's also Moldovan looking to gain in, obviously, in the top 10 now at a very poor start. Haven't really seen Moldovan at all in this race since the qualifying. He's just kind of been chilling down in P15, P14, but since those have pitted, he's made some positions here so far. We'll see. Shooter looking to gain in on Leo Lund, as we can see in that battle now on our screens. They head down to turn 11. Obviously, DRS will be activated here for Mark on the back of Leo's Valentino Labella. On the back of Mark as well as Joris takes the lead once again.
Oh, blimey, that got very close on the exit of the final turn between the lead pair, but that moment just cost Joris that bit of momentum. They pit together. Okay, so the championship pair from the hard starting tyres pit together. So I did wonder whether they were actually going to, one was going to overcome the other, but I think JST committed. It did look like there was a very brief moment of hesitation from Joris, whose pit crew is going to come out on top. On my screen, they ghosted together for a brief moment, but it's still McLaren ahead of Alpine.
As we can see, Schluter looking for a move on Leo Lund around the outside into turn 1. They still go side by side. Leo keeps it just ahead now of Labella as well. And where does JST come out here? He comes out in P10 just behind the back of Valentino Labella. Joris behind. So this has worked well for Jay, considering now He's got DRS ahead, so this could prevent Joris from making an overtake as the race resumes. We've got, what, 13 laps left to go. I'm starting to think now, those on the mediums, Jan and Gabriel, they've got to be thinking about soft. Surely they're not going to go to a set of hards now.
Yeah, surely. Yeah, there's no reason to go on to hards at this late stage. If the mediums can go that long, then you're only disadvantaging yourself further. Well, who can we look at then? Mark Schluter is on the back of Leo Lund. Of course, Leo having a great run on the soft tyres to begin with. So our top 6 yet to see the pit lane. What are they going to go on to? When will they come in? As Leroy Brown and Tom Martinez leave Gabriel Quintino absolutely defenseless. The Ferrari having no DRS to defend with. So he had no choice but to lose those positions. Jan Halliday chooses to continue. Any more pit visitors? In comes Martinez. So he's decided enough's enough for those hard tyres. And along with Ivan Santamaria. So 2 more from the top group will now serving their pit stops. Just 4 more to give their pit crew something to do.
One thing that's rather annoying is the fact of now, my delta's glitched on Jay, so it says he's 1.3 seconds ahead. Which, there we are, it's fixed now. I was thinking for a second, please, game, don't die on me, but no. Jay's delta has fixed. He's just over a second back from Labella, so he needs to try and gain his Labella. Looking for a move on the back of Leo Lund in towards turn 3 and 4. As we can see, J&A comfortably within a second of Labella, Leo Lund and Mark Schluter. Obviously, Jay and Joris have got better tyres, so is it going to be time before, well, it shouldn't be long before those two try and take the leads of those ahead and, you know, try and make advantage of theirs. Medium's been a little bit new. Obviously, Ben's only 2.5 seconds back from Joris. Obviously, he's going to have to try and gain some time. It's going to be a big difficulty for him to gain some time here now. Obviously, being so far back and with that DRS advantage being so strong, then towards that critical turn 14. So we'll see what happens. But also, Labella, Chris here, looking really strong on the back of Leo. He could also be looking to post for a podium here in this race.
Could well do. Yeah, they reports from wing damage at 14. So that was what. That was why he kept flying off the road. Front wing damage, of course. The front won't bite, so flying off the road and decided to park it rather than continue. As I'm running on board with Joris Crutzen, then is. We've got some potential moves coming on here. Here comes Labella. Here comes JST. Oh, this could get a bit uncomfortable for Valentino Labella. He's forcing the outside line on Schluter. And, JST tries to cut underneath Leo Lund. Well, that caught Leo somewhat by surprise. The McLaren's now together after all that. Jan Halliday's gone for softs as well as Quintino. So don't discount them as Mark Schluter pretty much gets out of the way of Jay. Valentino Labella third. Whoa, as Joris Crutzen tries an outside maneuver coming into turn 1, into turn 2. Oh, Valentino Labella's in the middle of a 3 wide. Whoa, breathe in, sunshine. But Joris Crutzen, what a move to stay in championship contention.
But look at this, though. Who's ahead of Joris? It's not Jay, it's Mark. Now, what can Mark in this race do here to try and stop Joris from getting past the back of JSA? This is perfect for the 2 McLarens here in this race. And now it's time for Mark, if he can, just try and hold up Joris a little bit here. So far, don't drop yourself out of the DRS, but just try and hold back from the LP just for now. You can see that gap slowly increasing as they head through and towards the next few corners. So Labella will be looking to try and get back ahead of Joris. He'll be angry about losing that position there. But obviously, both Jay and Joris making brilliant moves in towards turn 14 and turn 1 as they head back down towards turn 11 yet again. And we can see that gap there between Mark and Jay being nearly 0.7 of a second here, Chris. This could be the move, and this could be the defence, which gives Jay the championship. I'm starting to think a little bit here of Sergio Perez, but look at Joris. He's not going to be backing down anytime soon.
Oh, he didn't even give Mark Schluter an opportunity to try and defend there. They're getting a bit up close and personal. The braking zone coming down towards 13. The McLaren's not giving up yet. Tries to get the momentum on the outside. Can Schluter hold on to second to try and defend from his teammate, who's actually ended up going for the lead almost. But that's going to compromise the McLaren's run on the exit of the final turn. Here comes Crutzen having a look on the outside line. Less than 10 between them. Oh, is this nearly inbound between the second McLaren? Oh, it starts 3 wide for the 3 leader. Oh, no, that's JST. Bounces off his teammate, nearly gets into a spin. Joris Crutzen has taken the pair of them to take the lead.
Oh, that could have ended badly, couldn't it? The 2 McLarens came to contact in towards turn 4. As we can see, Joris now take the lead of the race ahead of Jay. Is all marking and hits the back of his teammate into turn 6. That would not be ideal whatsoever. And now it's back to these two. It didn't last long, did it, Chris? Mark in the battle now. Back between Joris and Jay, fighting for the victory, fighting for the championship. Remember, who finishes ahead of these two will be who finishes ahead out of these two will be the one who takes the championship out of this final round. And obviously, Joris taking 3 wins in the past 4 rounds. We're looking to make it 4 in the past 5. Jay as well, obviously getting a win last time in Austria, but hasn't had a win all the way back since Singapore before then in round 6. So he's looking to try and get himself a back-to-back victory here tonight in this championship. But also, we'll see soon if any of those behind can try and work their way up. Jan Halliday in 9th. He's on those softs, of course, looking to try and power through if he can to catch up to the top runners. Obviously, we saw Leo Lund do it, so there's no reason at all why Jan can't. We can see Labella on the back of Schluter in towards turn 14. He makes a move for P3.
Yeah, the Alfa Romeo trying to muscle his way past the ETA McLaren. He's going to have the inside line for the final turn, and that should be job done. 3rd place for Valentino Labella. Leo Lund is not far behind, but he's dragging Benzoni along for the ride. The Williams now goes for the outside line. Coming down into turn 1, is he going to commit? No, he backs out of that one. Can't cut underneath the Haas, but still buzzing around in Leo Lund's rearview mirrors. Jan Halliday takes the fastest lap. Don't discount him either. He's in this DRS train. He's trying an outside maneuver on left in, coming through turn 4. He's trying to really utilize that tyre advantage. Is he burning the tyres too quickly? Sizing up an outbreaking maneuver coming down into 6. Can he get it done? Yes, he can. The Red Bull up into 8.
And now we could see Jan possibly being with someone here who could win this race, or at least challenge himself to win this race tonight. He's looking to push now after the back of Bogdan Moldovan on the 4-lap old mediums. He's also had a decent change in form in this race. Started down in P15, is now pitted earlier than some others, and has now got himself into a top 10 position behind the back of his teammate, Leo Lund, as they head down towards turn number 11. We can see Jan try and close in and make a move ahead of Bogdan ASAP. Bogdan hasn't got DRS at the back of Riccardo Benzoni. Actually, no, he has, because look, he's getting about 3 tenths down 1 quarter, so he's looking to try and also make a charge in this race if he can. But Jan Halliday on the back of the Haas as they head down towards turn 14. Brilliant send there from Jan. Going to go to the inside line as they head down towards turn 14. P7 now for the Red Bull, but Bogdan's still going to stick it as they head down as Leo, faster with Mark Schluter. Into P4 goes Leo Lund, and also into P7 goes Jan Halliday.
Oh, it's going to be difficult to know where to look for the remaining 10 laps, which is exactly what we love as racing fans, as commentators. It is absolutely incredible. We were hoping, weren't we, that it was all going to boil down to this, and this is exactly what we've got. JST is biding his time. He's not committing too early. He knows he's got the lap count. He's got 9 laps to try and figure out how he's going to get past Joris Crossen. And equally, Joris has got that long to figure out how he's going to keep that McLaren behind. As Kai Pearson comes into the pit lane, we wonder whether he was going to play a part in the championship battle. And speaking of people getting involved in battles, Jan Halliday blasts past Riccardo Benzoni into the braking zone for turn 6 for position 6.
Indeed, now we'll see what he can do, see if he can try and close in on the back of Joris and Jay. And well, maybe Jan Halliday could be the deciding factor in who takes this championship here tonight between Joris and Jay. So you can see Jan already pushing through Mark Schluter as they head in towards turn number 9 and 10. We'll see if any moves can be made through here. No, they can't. But Jan yet again with the perfect exit on turn number 10. We'll see if we can get him into turn 11. No, we can't back off for now. We can see Benzoni also looking to gain in as well and keep himself on the back of the Red Bull as they head now out of turn 12. Back to the front. Jay right on the back of Joris. Joris must have made a mistake because look how close to the back. Jay is already on Joris Crossen. They go side by side down to turn 14. Joris looking to defend the lead. Jay looking to go for it. Inside line for the McLaren gets a position ahead of Joris as they head down to the brake zone. And now we can see Jan side by side with Mark to get himself into P5. He's got the position done. Now he's going to have to go back after Leo Lund. Remember, Leo, actually, no, Mark's going to try and hang it to the inside if he can. Into turn 16, and they go side by side, and Jan off the circuit for a split second. But he still keeps position ahead, and now Riccardo Benzoni looking to make a move in towards turn number 1. And you can see now Mark is looking to try and hold Jan back as much as he can, so he can, kind of stop then from Jay from being attacked. As we can see, it's going to be Benzoni up the inside of Schluter. In towards there, and Mark goes really deep there on the back of the Williams as they head back down to turn 6. And now we've got the likes of Bogdan Moldovan getting involved now into the braking zone at turn number 6.
Oh, he's got the inside line of Sluter. Is he going to try the Williams as well? No, not quite. Stays in the tyre tracks of Benzoni. He still has got past Sluter, but Sluter's gone wide. Whether he drove wide or was helped, not entirely certain. He's lost another one to Lefted, but Lefted was flirting with the rumble strip a little bit too much and cost him momentum. So back down into ninth. What about up top, though? Jan Halliday could still be a bit of a fly in the ointment for the top two, as his tyres are several laps fresher than everyone ahead of him. But, of course, that much softer. They won't hold as long as the mediums, but they will hold long enough. JST, good exit from that, from turn 13. Hey, I mean, here we go again, basically replaying what we saw in the first part of the race. But you know people are going to push that much harder in this second half of the race. Oh, is Valentino Labella going to make a move? No, he remains where he is, but that's Leo Lund on the inside line. I think he outbraked himself there as he was kind of fully locked up coming into the braking zone for 14, but he does not get the position. Valentino Labella fights him back. Jan Halliday still looming. Is Joris Crossen too far back? Yes, he is. So he's not going to make a move. Valentino Labella can't do anything. And everyone remains where they are. But everybody is poised, waiting for that mistake, trying to apply the pressure to force someone into making a move or fly off the road.
Indeed, you can see Jan yet again looking to gain in on the back of Leoland, who had a big snap going into turn 3, nearly hit the back of Labella as they all fly down towards turn number 6. You can see Jan gaining in, but not enough to make an overtake into there. But Labella also getting in, and Jan goes really deep, doesn't he, there for a second? It looks like on our screens at least. And now we can see Leo Lund also looking to defend from Halliday, who's just trying to find a way through, and the Haas can't find a way through, but still looking to try and make his way if he can. He's on the outside as they head into turn 9, bit of contact for a second between Leo and Jan there. Let's hope no damage for any of them as they head in towards turn 9. We'll go on board with the Red Bull as they head out of turn 10 in towards turn 11, where they obviously get some DRS in towards turn 14. Can Jan make a send? No, backs off. He knows there's no point making a move there on the back of Leo Lund, so we'll see yet again. Battle down towards turn 14 between the top 5. Obviously, Benzoni and now Bogdan also getting involved in this battle. This train goes all the way down to P13 in this race, so they all fly down yet again. And obviously, any penalties for any driver now would pretty much ruin any chance of points if you're in that top 5 as they head down to turn 14. Leo looking to gain in there. Can he make a move on the back of Labella? He can't do so. Can Joris trying to take the lead? No, he can't. They all hit each other. They lead towards the braking zone. Joris backed off heavily, and that also caused Labella and Leo Lund to do the same. And now Jan Halliday looking to gain in yet again on the back of Leo. And surely this time, Chris, it should be the time for Jan to get a move into P4.
Oh my goodness me, do not look away. This is going to be absolutely intense. 6 to go. Lap 23 of 28, 22 down, 6 remaining as that's... Oh no, Gabriel Quintino has spun on the outside of turn 1. Whether he was helped or whether he slid, no idea. Is Bonventre and Leroy Brown side by side through 4. The Mercedes winning out on that occasion. But it is getting a bit scrappy coming into turn 6 between Leonardo and Valentino Labella. But the Italian in the Alfa Romeo just about manages to fend off the Haas coming in to turn 7.
Indeed, and Jan, he's kicking himself because he knows he's had so many opportunities to make a move, but he just can't find it at the right time as they all fly through now in towards these next couple of corners at turns, the double left-hands at turns 9 and 10 down to turn 11 once again. And Jan, right on the back of Leo Lund. Does he make a send this time on the back of the Haas? No, he doesn't. Leo closing in on the back of Valentino. And if there's one thing we've learned this season about Leo Lund, it is aggressive. He likes to brake later than the others, and in many cases it's worked. So far, it hasn't worked how we would have liked, but they head back down to turn 14 once again. And can we see any moves being made this time around? Because they're all gaining in, but never really enough to make a move. You can see Joris actually just 4.5 tenths back from the back of Jay, and Labella looking to gain in to make a move. Joris is forced to try and close in as Labella goes to the outside of Joris as they head down towards the braking zone. Can a move be made there by Labella? No, he can't. No move being made now. Leo looking to gain in as well on the back of Labella as they all fly through in towards turn 16 to begin lap 24 and 28. 4 laps to go here in this race, and Chris, at this point, you cannot call who will win here.
No, absolutely not. Tom Martinez has gone into the pits again. Whether that's damage or whatnot, no idea. As Quintino, also following his spin, has gone into the pits in the Ferrari as Gabriel Quintino has parked it for the night. Oh my goodness me. It's, like you say, it's absolutely impossible to know who is going to win out. The DRS train is first to 11th. Nick Bonventre, the back of this particular pack. In the Alfa Romeo. So if someone up front has a problem, They could potentially take quite a few cars with them. We will see. If someone outbreaks themselves towards the back of this field, that is the biggest, most disastrous game of Skittles you will have ever seen.
Indeed, and yeah, it wouldn't be ideal for any driver, especially those fighting for the championship as they head again once down towards that DRS zone shortly. We can see Jay, though, with the 4/10 gap this time, he's always holding a healthy gap to the back of Joris so far. So this is definitely looking good for him, but that's again Leo Lund right on the back of Labella coming through. He's got a really good close gap to Leo as they head back down towards turn 14. Leo's getting in quickly now. Can he make a move ahead of the Alfa Romeo, who's also looking to close in on the back of the Alpine? In towards turn 14, who's going to make moves? Who's going to stick behind as they all look to try and fight positions? Leo to the inside, Joris to the outside, nearly 4 wide in towards turn 14, and Jay still keeps lead ahead of Joris, and Leo now ahead of Labella. Can Labella try and fight it back into turn 16? No, he can't. So now it's 1-2-3 in the championship, sitting 1-2-3 on the final race here of the season.
Wow, unreal. 4 remain. As we now come down and towards turn 1. Now, Jan Halliday was a little bit too far back to get involved in this battle, as well as Lefty and Mark Schluter arguing coming into turn 1. The McLaren rather has the inside line coming through 3 and 4. Can he get it done? The Aston Martin's gone a bit wide. Mark Schluter nearly against up into the side pass of the Irish driver, but no harm, no foul on that occasion. Up into 8th as lots of tyre smoke, lots of locking brakes going on into turn 6.
You can see Leroy Brown looking for a move there onto the curb for a second. That's not where he wants to be at all in that Mercedes car. So we'll switch back towards the front once again. We can see Labella still looking to close back in to make a move back ahead of Leo Lund. Jan Halliday starting to lose that advantage he has on his tyres. So we'll see if he can try and sort of make a bit of a late pose in his race. He's got a good run, hasn't he, on the back of Labella. He's going to go to the inside line to make a bit of contact in towards the entry of the corner. Here's Jan ahead. He's ghosted for a second, so they must have made some sort of contact as now Benzoni is looking to try and make a move ahead of the Red Bull as they all fly through. And Jan's still behind the back of Labella, but look how much time they've lost to those at the top. And now surely it's time for the likes of Benzoni and Jan Halliday to try and make moves here for position here in this race. They head down towards turn 14. Leo Lund's gaining in to the back of Joris, but not enough to make a move. Is Jan going to gain in? No. Benzoni sends a move in towards turn 14. That's the back head. That's going to be left into the inside. 3 wide in towards that corner now. Moldovan getting caught up in this. He's going to go 3 wide in towards turn 16, surely. This isn't going to end well for someone, and they all somehow make it through out the final corner.
My goodness me, Leroy Brown bounced off a few people. He's just claimed Mark Schluter along with Nick Bonfantre as well. Well, that's not done either. Bonfantre's just getting alongside Leroy Brown then into turns 1 and 2. What can the do? He hits the back of... who did he hit the back of? That's Bogdan Moldovan, who managed to catch the slide perfectly well, but Bonfantre up into 9th, just about wresting that spot from Leroy Brown.
Indeed, we can see Lefty now looking to also make a charge in this race on those 11 Lapo mediums. He looks stronger than likes of Jan Labella and Leo Lund ahead, so we'll see if he can try and make a late charge on the podium. I wouldn't expect to say that in this race here for Lefty whatsoever, but he's definitely got the chance to do so. He's got the pace, he's proved it before, he's got a victory this season in the past, so we know he's got that winning mentality in the back of that Aston Martin. They head through at turns 10 again to prepare themselves for the end of Sector 2 and the start of Sector 3, where they'll get that DRS advantage down towards turn 14, and this is where we'll see the championship most likely being decided in towards that braking zone. So now we come through to finish lap 26. This will obviously be the penultimate time. We head down towards turn 14, so we'll see any moves being made this time. Is Joris wanting to get ahead of Jay, possibly to make a position, or will he just stick behind for the final lap? We can see Leo getting in. He's going to try and get in along with Labella, who's going to make moves. You can see yet again 3 wide. Leo Lund looking for the lead in towards turn 14. JSD swamped by the field. He goes down. Joris goes wide. Joris off the circuit now. Leo Lund back ahead. And Jay and Joris go side by side into turn 16. Who will be ahead? Will it be any of them? As you can see, Jay goes off circuit slightly, and now Labella looking to get in, and the 2 championship protagonists coming together in towards turn 1 now. We can see Jay to the outside trying to get it back ahead of the Alpine. He swings it around the outside, and Joris will be defending this heavily in towards turn 3. They're going nearly hitting the back of Leo Lund. Is Joris, but Jay back up the inside at turn 4.
My goodness me, with JSD doing everything he can to box Joris behind Leo Lund. That's what happened to Jay coming out of turn 14. The McLaren had the pace, but nowhere to go. Leo defends the inside line on Joris, but that gives the position to JSD, or does it? Joris crosses the side by side, but losing the traction. JSD with a great exit out turn 6 claims the lead, but Joris crosses now inside, now outside. Make up your mind. They can't decide who's second. Leo Lund barely hangs on to second place. Joris Croton His championship hopes potentially falling away in the last 2 laps of the race.
They head back down towards the DRS zone once again. The penultimate time here in this race, and now this could be where we see the championship decided. Because look at the gap between Leo and Jay; it's 0.6 of a second. That gap is rising heavily as they head back down towards the turn 14 yet again. And this time, Joris has got a great run the back of Leo. Bit of contact for a second between the two as they head down. Look at Joris. Look at all that speed he's carrying in towards the final couple of corners. Can he make the move for Lady? Goes to the inside line. It's send it on the back of JSC. Jay keeps it ahead. Leo makes a send. Bit of contact there, and also Libana comes through. Joris down to P4. This could be it here for the Alpine.
Well, the amount of overtakes we're seeing, don't discount anything. The DD's advantage, JSD, as, my goodness me, that was Valentino Libana went too wide on that final turn. Joris back up into third. He's not out of it yet, folks. Don't look away. Final lap of the final race of the final season. We said it was going to come down to turn 14, and Joris is not out of it yet.
And well, this could be it here. Jay versus Joris. Jay has a 1-point advantage going into this race. Leo Long look for a move. No, sorry, but Joris looking for a move on Leo in towards turn 6. He can't find a way through just yet. And this could be it for Joris. You can see it coming out of his grasp ever so slightly now. The gap 8/10 between Leo and Jay. And now Joris needs to absolutely dump the battery down towards turn 14. Get a good run on Jay and make that move for Leo. This is the final lap, the final time Joris can try and fight for this championship. But we'll see who will win it. Any of them deserve it. Jay and Joris have fought an absolutely brilliant battle all season long, and here now we could see the DRS be possibly lost for Leo Lund. The gap's 8/10 to JSD. They head through now towards turn 12, in towards turn number 13. Joris is gaining in, and Leo, has he got DRS because he lost it for a second as they head through in towards 13, back down to 14, and now Joris is going to dump the battery. He's got to push, but he's got hardly anything in the tank, and he goes to the inside of Leo now, looking to gain in, but I don't think it's enough. You can see Jay just about gaining in the distance, but I don't think there's anything that Joris can do here at this point. So we switch back to JSD. What a brilliant campaign he's had here this season. We can see him coming through towards turn number 16. He was losing it at one point, but he's got himself back ahead in Austria. He'll make it back-to-back feature. The JSD is your season 16 WRT2 PC champion. Absolutely amazing there from him. And Joris into second, and what an ending that was to that race. Absolutely magnificent. I've never seen an ending as brilliant as that before, Chris.
Wow, that was unreal. Absolutely unreal. I mean, you might want to place the argument that Leo wasn't involved in the championship battle. Should he have been involved in that fight for the win? Why not? It's a race. He had every right to challenge for that top spot. Couldn't quite hold it, but it was just enough to give the McLaren the top spot. And the championship goes to him.
Well, that was absolutely mega, and to top it off, it is still first, second and third in the standings, who finished first, second and third here at China. Oh, that was absolutely brilliant. And Leo Lund, hats off to him as well. Started P11 in this race, finished in the top 3 after that very bold strategy on the softs to mediums. And we can see shortly Jay heading on to the top step of the podium for the final time to claim his championship here this season. And Chris, what a season this has been. Absolutely brilliant all the way through. You're thinking at one point Keane's going to fight for it. Lefty was a championship contender. Leo Lund, Joris and Jay. Oh, this has been absolutely amazing. Just say we saw Keane and Lefty for more rounds. What this could have been. We could have had a full wave fight to the final round.
Yeah, absolutely true. It's easy to say, oh, what might have been, but what a race we've just been treated to. That is going to be that's going to be fondly remembered by most. There'll be some that won't have liked the amount of elbows out going on there, but I mean, you can't deny that the championship was sealed fair and square at the end of the day. Just so little points in it, less than a victory's points difference. Slightly over a victory's. Now, what am I on about? There's only going to be a handful of points difference between Joris and Jay at the end. Both of them with 3 wins. Just one more podium in Jay's pocket was all that really sealed it. But God, fair play to Joris. He gave it absolutely everything. Didn't give up until that final checkered flag fell.
Indeed, and it was absolutely amazing. And hopefully we'll get a word from any of them in a short while. We're going to head over to the interview screen to see if we can get a word from Jay. Obviously, he's normally up for an interview with us, so hopefully on his championship win, he should still be up for a word with us in the commentary box. And we'll just have a quick look to see if anyone's in there just yet. But that was brilliant. We can see Leo Lund's in the chat, so we'll drag him up first of all once we can get him. Where is it? There he is. Leo Lund, welcome in. Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
So into that round, obviously qualifying wasn't the best, but going into the race, what drawn you to that soft start? Obviously, no one else took that strategy apart from you.
Like I said, oh shit, I'm so bad at college China. So I said, okay, let's do. Mike said to me, let's do softs, for fun, and I did it for fun and just did go for the overtakes. And I was lucky because people did not use the ERS to defend that, so it was pretty easy. So that's why I got up so many positions.
Yeah, and obviously going to the pits, you went for an early undercut. And do you think, obviously, all that battling on the final laps, do you think that's what kind of saved you from that podium? Obviously, because everyone else behind you was on newer tyres, but obviously all that battling kind of just kept you in the midst of it, didn't it, the whole time?
Yeah, it was hard, but yeah, I just tried to defend my hardest to keep that podium to talk with you last time.
Yeah, obviously back-to-back podiums. And do you think if you didn't, if you got some points in Mexico, Portugal, and any more in Belgium, do you think you could have still fought for the championship going into this final round?
Yes, of course.
Indeed, that is brilliant to hear. Well, that's all from me. Chris, anything from you here for Leo?
I've got no throat left. But oh my goodness, Leo. Going from near the back to right in the middle for challenging for the win. What a roller coaster that absolutely was. But did you kind of think about if I bounce off of one person, this could all go wrong? Or was it just a simple case of, right, there's a gap, I'm going for it?
Just go for it.
Oh, they will say if you don't go for a gap, you're not a racing driver. But so challenging for the title next season then?
Yeah, of course. That's. I hope I can get a car I like.
Yeah, we've heard that many times, haven't we, Leo? You don't like the Ferrari cars, do you?
No, the house is so horrible.
See, I wouldn't say what you want because some of them will purposely pick that car. So don't say what car you want.
I want the house next season.
Well, I'm sure you definitely don't, and we'll see you next season. If that, if you get a better car, maybe that will give you a high chance of the championship. I don't know, but either way, Leo, thank you for joining us. It was brilliant to have you in here this season, and hopefully you have a nice break before the start of next season.
Yep. Thank you. Bye.
Have a good one. And Chris, you know what it's time to say, don't you?
Herr Jazz T, can you hear us?
Yes. Of course.
Oh my goodness me. What a bonkers race. You had it, you were losing it, you had it again, then Leo Lund got involved. I mean, that's what it looked like from our side, but talk us through it. I mean, it looked like, judging by quali pace alone, that Joris had a bit of a pace advantage on you, but by your own admission, your race pace was stronger than your quali pace. Wow, what was running through your mind the whole race long? Surely it had to be just everything.
Yeah, I don't know. It's ridiculous. The quali lap for Joris was insane. I've never done nearly such a lap, so I was very satisfied with P3. And yeah, it was lap 1 or lap 2. I had a little bit of a collision with Kai in the last corner. But I've reviewed it on the replay. But he turned in. It's the same. It's the same thing with the last race with Kian in Austria. So I don't think it's a penalty. So I'm very happy with the race. I tried to work together with my team, with my teammate Mark. He pitted earlier, and but it didn't work out that way. So in the end, it was again Joris versus me. So yeah.
Oh, goodness!
I don't know what to say.
Well, I mean, I think that sums it up. It has been such an incredible season, and certainly from my side, I get to say one last time, Tolles rein, Tolles Meister.
Yeah, thank you. The last laps was very intense. Leo got involved, and we all tried to get in P2. So I was doing very slowly the last laps. But yeah, it was a fight for P2 and to stay in P2 the last lap. But yeah, it worked out that both of the guys behind fight more, and it worked out. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Nice season, and GG to everyone. I don't know. I'm very happy.
I've got one thing to quickly say to you, Joe. Obviously, back in season 11, you won, didn't you, on the opening season of PC Tier 2? I think it was about 3 points to Primars. So every time you got yourself into a battle for the championship, it's never been that easy, has it? We've seen before in the past, many people win it by 30 points, but you, every time, it's less than 10 points every single time.
Yeah, it's too close. I don't know.
But either way, I think you fought through it well. And obviously, just one thing, obviously, near the end of the season, obviously, Joris got those 3 back-to-back victories. Did you think at that point that it could be possibly over?
Yes, of course. Also, after the Spa Grand Prix, I said it was over. Joris has insane quali pace, insane race pace, and yeah, I don't know what to do. But then Austria was coming, and yeah, I can win it, and today again. So I don't know. It was perfect ending of the season, and yeah, very nice.
Well, one last question: are you gonna be here back again next season?
Maybe, yeah, of course.
Oh, it's brilliant to hear.
I don't know how to get in Tier 1, but yeah, Tier 2 is also a good place for me. So
Indeed.
Yeah, let's see.
So, yeah, well, that's all from me, and that's all from Chris. So, Jay, thank you for joining us, and yet again, well done on the championship, and we'll see you again next season.
And thank you for commentating all the ways. It was.
Dankeschön, Herr Justy.
Danke auch. Bye-bye.
Wiedersehen.
Bye.
Ja, auf Wiedersehen.
Okay.
Right. Back to the main screen we go, and we can end off what has been a brilliant season. And yeah, again, thank you to everyone who's been in the live chat as well. I was having a little look through earlier on, and we hit over 150 views, which is brilliant to see here for the Tier 2 Championship. Obviously, the final round, obviously, we're going to see more when we've got a final battle going on. But I don't think we could have predicted a more crazy ending. You know, we had what? At one point, 6 drivers who could be in contention for the victory. We had obviously Jan as well, who was pinned onto those softs. We had Labella, we had Leo Lund, Joris and Jay. Anyone could have come through. Then also Lefted as well near the end. He probably sprung through the field. So we could have seen absolutely anyone take that final victory, obviously ahead of Jay and Joris. But those two, nothing has stopped them this season. I think, you know, we've had those times where we've seen Kian, Leo and Lefted be absolutely dominant, but those two have been consistently good. If they're not first and they're not second, they're third or fourth. You know, they're constantly fulfilling good points. So those two, hats off. And I've got to say, obviously, Joe, I've commentated him on this team since season 14, and then obviously he finished, I think, 9th in the first season. Season 15, he finished around 5th. So this season, you know, it's been a constant uprise for him every single season since then. So it's brilliant to see him where he's, and also Joris as well, coming to the season, a bit of an unknown, didn't have a very well start. So he got some points in the first couple of rounds, had a DNF in Monaco, had a podium, then had no points in the next round after that in Las Vegas, and then since then, it would just win, and he was just unstoppable. Obviously, the pole positions as well, the gaps he had to P2 was, you know, over 2/10, so both of them, in my eyes, deserve it. I think they both deserve champions here this season. It's like what we've seen last season with Daniel and Yannick. Those two fought to the end, so yeah, again, Chris, Tier 2 has absolutely delivered.
Yeah, absolutely so. Those that think that the racing is diluted just because it's not top tier, think again. Those in top tier really need to be keeping an eye on those that are coming through the ranks, because they've got some hard competition coming their way.
Definitely, indeed. Well, I think that is kind of all from us here tonight. There's nothing else left to talk about. I don't know when the sign-up's open for Season 17, if they've already been announced. I'm sorry, I don't have a clue. I presume it shouldn't be too far away either way. I presume we'll probably get started March time, maybe a little bit later than that. I'm not sure. I might be back next season, I might not. We'll see. And Chris, are you going to be back here again, do you think?
I will do my best to be. If WOR will have me, I would love to do this all over again.
Indeed. So yeah, again, thank you to Luke, obviously, for having me and Chris in the commentary box. It's been a pleasure to commentate together over this season. Also, thank you to all the drivers. You know, the attendance this season has been absolutely brilliant. We've had nearly 20 drivers every single race, which in other leagues we barely get. That league knows what I'm talking about. So it's brilliant to see 20 drivers here in this, you know, in the grid every single race, and always the same drivers coming back and barely missing races. It's brilliant. So we'll be back again next season for Season 17 of WRC2, and we'll see. Well, will it be Leo? Will it be Oris? Will it be Jay again? We'll see, won't we, Chris?
Absolutely. Well, or will it be? Yeah, we always see people jump over to PC side, don't we? So we could have a rising star in the ranks that has yet to prove themselves in Tier 2. Only one way to find out, and that is to join us next season.
See you later, everyone. Goodbye.